Hi, welcome to another video. This is Mr. Chow from EnglishTuition.org. First of all, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a good time during the school holidays. Now the school holidays are about to be over, so I want to wish you a Happy New Year as well. And for today's video, I want to talk about two things. First of all, I want to review the PSLE results of my students who have taken the national exam this year, as well as what I usually do at the end of the year, which is to post some thoughts on the teaching for the year. Okay, I want to reflect upon my work, and hopefully we can work on some improvements for the year going forward. So without further ado, let's get started with revealing the PSLE results first. So for this year, I only have a total of 3 students who took the exam. So this will be a very short and sweet slide, because I'm just going to share some stories, right? Now we'll just call them student A, student B, and student C. Now for student A, the level of this student when he was first starting off was pretty weak. In fact, he couldn't even form proper sentences, simple sentences with the correct grammar, and this should not be happening at the P6 level. So I can see that it's going to be pretty challenging teaching this child. He started off in the 20s range, and to target AL6, for your information, is at least 45%, right? For the entire exam. That is quite a huge jump, at least 15-20 marks or 15-20%, okay, from where he's starting off. So we have to go back to work on the foundation and work on the grammar and work on all the different parts of the syllabus, like comprehension, sentence synthesis, and all those. And we're starting from the very basics, meaning we have to go back to like teaching stuff like from primary 3, primary 4, right? Now the goal has always to be to achieve AL6. So from prelims, right, student A actually managed to attain AL6, but very borderline AL6. Right, and for PSLE, he managed to attain AL7. Okay, so for this student, he did well, quite average for all the students across the board, right? For all the subjects, across the board, and he managed to get into G2, right? And he's coming back. That's the good thing, right? He's coming back for additional language lessons to bump up the grades further. Okay, so but I'll share you my final thoughts about this student. But let's move on to talk about student B. Now student B is of a very similar profile, right? Starting in a very weak 20s, right? And the target is AL6. Now this student is very low in confidence, right? And he has got very low in the self-esteem, and he didn't actually believe that there's any possibility of him attaining an AL6. And usually my approach to the students who belong to this profile is I'll avoid the conversation altogether, right? Whether you can achieve AL6 or not. Okay, let's put that aside, and I'll just start my teaching, and I'll just give him exercises, right? And over time, okay, as he's able to see himself improve, right, something magical happens, right? He starts to gain confidence, right? And he's able to do slightly better. First of all, the grammar MCQs, right? He's able to pass, and then do slightly better than pass, right? Starting to get 13, 14 of 20, right? And then eventually even up to 15, 16 of 20. So that kind of activities grows his confidence. The target, of course, again, is AL6. And in the beginning, he was always like, that's impossible, man. It's too hard, right? The target is too high. I can't do it, right? But the good news is that he managed to attain for his prelims AL6 as well, but again, borderline AL6, and PSLE AL7, right? So whenever you manage to, you do a school exam, okay, and you score a borderline grade, right? For it could be a B, it could be a C, but you're at borderline, there's always a danger of you falling one grade down, right? It's always plus minus, right? So my advice to all students, if you want a grade very badly, you want to aim higher than that, right? For example, for O-level students, you want to attain a B3, you should not just aim for borderline B3, right? And if you get 65 for prelims, it does not automatically means that you get B3 for O-levels, okay? You may drop down a grade B4, right? If you're not careful. So you should always aim higher, right? Try to aim for a high B3 or even A2, right? If you drop, you still get your B3. Same for PSLE, okay? You want to get a better grade, you want to get AL6, then you want to aim for 55 AL6, not 45, okay? So these both of these students, right, they just attained a borderline AL6 in prelims, and unfortunately they were not able to repeat the same result in PSLE, and they got AL7. Now my final thoughts on these two students is that, well, given where they have where they are starting off from the 20s all the way to AL6, AL7, the improvements are there, right? But more importantly, right, because there's such a huge gap for them to close, okay, I don't expect them to catch up with their peers in just one shot, a short year, right? PSI is a short year. They take the exam in September. We don't even have the 10 full months, okay, with the students. So I think we managed to attain our objective, which is to build on their foundation. By the end of the exam, by the end of the academic year, both of them were able, to confidently write simple sentences, right, with the correct tenses. Okay, that's what we want them to do. All right, and well, the fact that both of them managed to get AL6 in prelims is a boost in confidence, right? Student B no longer, towards the prelims, he no longer, kept saying that I can't do it, right? He will just smile foolishly because he attained AL6 already, right? In the beginning of the year, he said he can't do it, but we managed to do it, right? Despite all that, the lack of confidence. Okay, so I think the PSI result is just a small milestone for many of these students. So do not be too concerned, right? Just if they go off track, the goal has always to be to put them back on track, right? So that there's a full 4 years, 5 years ahead of them in secondary school life, right? And a whole young life ahead of them beyond that. Okay, so I believe both student A, student B, I think we managed to attain that objective. Okay, to put them back on track, to help them gain more confidence, to strengthen their foundation, so that when they go to secondary school, they still have an interest in the subject and they do not lose interest in English, right, completely, right? And to be honest with you, when they first came to me, they were starting to just to complete this interest, right, in English, right, because they were just doing so badly. Okay, so now for the third student was quite good, right, in the sense that he wasn't failing or anything, right? To call him student C. He started off with the AL5. He was getting AL5 in school, and our target is to help him to attain an AL4. Okay, so I do not have any issues at all with this student, right? He does his homework, he likes attending my lessons, so he's very attentive. Okay, so we can see steady progress, right, throughout the academic year, and that's our target. But from prelims, he still missed out just by a little, okay, for his AL4, right, and he attained an AL5. Okay, but he's almost there already, right? Yeah, and then when I looked through the paper, I found that it was just a few careless mistakes that prevented him from getting an AL4. So I believe he has a very good chance of attaining an AL4 when he takes his PSLE, and that is exactly what happened. Okay, so he managed to get AL4 for his PSLE, and I think student A and student C, both of them are coming back for lessons next year. All right, so that's all the stories that I have to share with you. So, well, you might come to me and say, well, Mr. Chow, other tuition centers or other tutors are publicizing their, AL3, AL2, those distinctions grades, right? Why are you sitting down here posting a video about AL7 PSI results, right? But like I said, right, not every student can be a distinction student. It all depends on where you start, right? Your own learning ability, right? And a myriad of factors, right? So for everyone the situation is different. Okay, so we should not be comparing, between the different students. That's why my tuition is called personal best English tuition, right? But you should compete with yourself, right? You should aim to achieve your own personal best. And all three of these students walk away happy, right? Because they know where they started, right? And they have seen the improvement for themselves, right? And they've gained that confidence. I think you can't put a price tag to that, right? Confidence, right? And then they're ready to move on with the further challenges posed to them in their secondary school life. Okay, so that is the ultimate aim that we have for PSLE students, right? Life is not over after PSLE. There's still life in secondary school. Okay, so we do have adopt a more midterm outlook, okay, midterm approach, right, when we teach the PSLE students, right? So as long as we achieve our goals, I think we can close the year happy, right? All of us are happy. Parents are happy, students are happy, and I'm very proud of these students for achieving something that they have never been able to achieve before. All right, so good for them. Okay, now with that said, let's move on to the last part of the video, which is reflections for 2003, right? And the first, I think I have 3 items on this slide, right? The first item is adjusting mindsets and attitudes. I think this is what is working very well. Okay, ongoing. I've been teaching for the past 9 years, right? Next year will be my 10th year, right? I've been teaching for 9 years. Okay, and I found that you need to adjust the mindset and attitude, and this takes time, right? But I feel that there's room for improvement, and I want to spend more time adjusting the mindset and attitudes of the student. Now, most of the time, my approach to this is that I've been telling stories, sharing stories about myself, about other people, about other students over time. Okay, so they may just be listening. Some may be consciously paying attention, right? But some subconsciously, because they've been influenced by me, influenced by the stories, influenced by their group mates. Then we start to see some positive changes, right? Because if they don't adjust their mindset and their attitudes, nothing I teach will matter, right? Because they are not going to accept it. They are not going to absorb that knowledge. Right? Why should I do it, right? The mindset is different, okay? There are certain things that they have not understood, all right? And there's certain things that are preventing them from achieving their goals. So the goal is talk to them, right? And try to share stories with them, right? Hopefully they take something out of it, and over time, once they have the proper mindset and more positive attitude, the results will follow, right? More positive results. And I can assure you, right, those stories that I shared previously, right, many students will come to me. Now it's becoming the norm for me, right, to experience this, right? A lot of students say, I can't do it. And then by the end of the year, they manage to achieve something that they have not been able to achieve before, all right? And this plays a big part, adjusting the mindsets and the attitudes. And for the next year going forward, I want to spend even more time doing this, right? Because I find this to be very effective. Further, second item I have on the slide is to further encourage engagement, right? So my style of teaching has always been based on engagement. I don't want students to sit there passively and just listen, right, with a blank face and then just nodding their head. Everything you say, they nod their head, right, as if they have understood everything that we have said. But when I ask them questions, I try to engage in a conversation with them and realize that, they either don't understand or they haven't been paying attention. So, on an ongoing basis, I have been, encouraging engagement, but again, this is something that has been working very well. So I want to further encourage engagement. Now, this is problematic for students who are, very shy by nature, right? They are very timid, and they just don't like to engage. But I think there are so many benefits of engagement that I don't think that shyness even comes into the question, right? You shouldn't let shyness prevent you from speaking up, from asking questions, right? So I think that is just the basis of being a good student, right? You want to be get good results. You want to be a good student first. So what a good student looks like, right? A good student shouldn't be afraid to speak up, right? A good student shouldn't be afraid to ask questions. So we shouldn't use that shyness or the timidness as an excuse, right? Because students, they grow up, right? And like when I teach O levels, they are teenagers growing up to be young adults. So how can we have our young adults going out into society, who are shy, timid, afraid to ask questions, afraid to speak up, afraid to engage in conversations, right? And one of the benefits for engagement is that students actually remember the lessons a lot better, right? Because they have engaged in that conversation, in that discussion. They feel that they're part of it, right? And it enhances their understanding, right? And helps them with memory work, right? They remember the lessons better. So we're going to do a lot more of this going into 2024. Now, and the last item I have on this slide is improved revision notes. We already have revision worksheets, right? So towards the end of the year, about 7 or 8 weeks before the national exam, okay, we will start the revision. All right. But I think there's room for improvement because what happens now is that students, they do get quite a bit of notes, right? So by the end of the year, all the students will have a thick file to show, right? These are the additional work that they have done throughout the year. But I think over the past several years, right, I've yet to see students who proactively organize their notes in a way that allow them to conduct their revision efficiently. Okay, so it's just a thick stack of notes, but they never go back to it to revise. So as a result, sometimes during exams, I realize that they forget certain basics, right? So this is something for me to work on, right? So I want to add on to the revision worksheets that we already have. So this will be in the form of notes that they can actually study to revise, right? Instead of referring back to a whole thick wad of notes, right? They can just refer to summarized version of it, the important points. So this will speed up their revision, help them save a lot of time, and hopefully that leads to improved results. All right. So with that said, we've come to the end of the video. I think I have very few slots remaining for next year. Most of the slots have been filled up, but if you're serious about signing up for lessons, do just check out englishttution.org for more details about fees and schedule, etc. And if you feel that you would like to watch more videos just like this one, do remember to leave a like and a subscribe. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have an excellent day. Bye bye.